The empty chair powerful life message. The rain tapped against the window like restless fingers, steady yet uneven. Inside the modest dining room of a small suburban home in New Jersey, a long oak table stood dressed with plates, glasses, and steaming dishes. But all eyes, those of mother, father, and daughter, were fixed on one thing. The empty chair. It sat at the far end of the table, pushed in neatly, untouched. Its wood was polished like the others, but its presence weighed heavier than all. Chapter 1, A Family Torn. A year ago, that chair belonged to Daniel, 22 years old, the eldest son, the one with the restless spirit. He had always been different from his sister Emily, who was quiet, studious, and obedient. Daniel was bold, reckless, and fiercely independent. "America is built on taking risks," he once told his father, Mark, a hard-working immigrant who had built his life brick by brick as a cab driver in New York. "You came here with nothing. You risked everything. Why can't I?" But Daniel's risks weren't the noble kind. He fell in with friends who promised fast money. First, small jobs. Then bigger ones. Eventually, it spiraled into something darker: armed robbery. The night the police knocked on their door, rain-soaked and grim, Mark's heart sank before they even spoke. Daniel had been arrested. Chapter 2, Silence at the Table. Dinner was never the same again. Mark, once a man of booming laughter, ate in silence. His wife, Sarah, pushed food around her plate, pretending for Emily's sake that things were normal. Emily herself stared at that chair as if willing it to fill, her fork untouched. "Can't we visit him?" she whispered one night. Mark slammed his fist on the table, startling her. "No. He made his choice. That's not my son sitting in that prison. My son is gone." Sarah's eyes welled with tears. "But he's still ours, Mark." "Still ours." But Mark would not bend. To him, Daniel had not just broken the law, he had broken the family, shattered the values they lived by. Chapter 3, Letters Never Sent. What no one knew was that Daniel wrote letters. Dozens of them. To his father, to his mother, to Emily. Handwritten, sometimes smudged with tears or sweat. He poured out regrets, apologies, promises. "Dad, I remember the day you first let me sit in the driver's seat of the cab. You said, 'Every turn matters, Daniel. Don't miss it, or you'll lose your way.' I didn't listen. And now I've lost mine." But Daniel never mailed them. Fear held him back. Fear that they'd be torn apart, unread, or worse, mocked. So he tucked them away in a shoebox under his prison cot, hoping someday, somehow, someone would understand. Chapter 4, Thanksgiving Without Him. The first Thanksgiving after Daniel's arrest arrived like a cruel joke. Sarah cooked the turkey as she always did, filling the house with the smell of rosemary and garlic. Emily set the table. Mark came home from a 12-hour shift, his shoulders slumped but his face hard. They sat down. 3 plates. 1 chair empty. The silence was suffocating. Finally, Emily broke it. "Dad, can we at least keep a plate for him just in case?" Mark's jaw tightened. There is no just in case. He chose his path. And we will not glorify it. Emily's voice trembled. But what if he comes home someday? What if he is sorry? Mark stood, his chair scraping the floor. His voice cracked for the first time. Sorry doesn't bring back trust. Sorry doesn't erase shame. He walked away, leaving his plate untouched. The empty chair stared at them, louder than words. Chapter 5, The Unexpected Knock. 2 years passed. The family carried on, fractured but surviving. Then, one snowy December evening, there was a knock at the door. Sarah opened it and froze. A tall man in uniform stood there, hat in hand. For a split second, her heart stopped. Police. Bad news. But the officer's face was soft, almost kind. "Mrs. Alvarez, I'm here on behalf of your son, Daniel." Sarah's breath hitched. Is he alive?" "He's alive," the officer assured quickly. "He's not well, but alive. He asked me to deliver this." He handed her a sealed envelope. Her hands shook as she opened it. Inside was one of Daniel's letters, creased, worn, the ink faded. "Mom, Dad, Emily. If you're reading this, it means I found the courage to let you see me. I don't ask for forgiveness. I only ask for a chance to fill that empty chair again. Even if I'm never welcomed, I'll sit quietly, grateful just to be near you. Love, Daniel." Sarah pressed the letter to her chest and wept. Chapter 6, Breaking Point. Mark read the letter last. His hands trembled, though he hid it. He read it once, twice, then threw it onto the table. "Words," he muttered. "Just words. Where were these words when he pointed a gun at someone's face? Where were they when he put this family's name in the dirt?" Emily grabbed the letter. "Dad, he's trying. He's your son." Mark's voice thundered. "My son died the night he chose crime." But his eyes betrayed him. They glistened with tears he refused to shed. That night, long after the house was quiet, Mark sat alone at the dining table. His eyes drifted to the empty chair. For the first time, he whispered, "Why, Daniel, why did you leave us like this?" Chapter 7, The Final Twist. Weeks later, another letter arrived. This time, it wasn't in Daniel's handwriting. It came from the prison chaplain. "Dear Alvarez family, I regret to inform you that Daniel passed away last week due to complications from pneumonia. He had no family by his side, but he did not die alone. He spoke of you every day. He kept a box of letters, hundreds of them, each one filled with apologies and memories. He said his only wish was for you to one day forgive him, even if you never saw him again." Mark's chest caved in. The letter slipped from his hand. For years, he had refused to let Daniel back into his life. And now, it was too late. That night, Sarah set the table as usual, but this time, she placed a plate at the empty chair. She lit a small candle beside it. Emily sat down and held her mother's hand. Mark stood in the doorway, broken. Slowly, with trembling steps, he walked to the chair. He pulled it back, sat down in it, and whispered through sobs, "I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry." Epilogue, the message of the empty chair. The Alvarez family never filled that chair with another person. It remained, year after year, as a reminder. A reminder of the son they lost too soon. A reminder that silence and pride can wound deeper than crime. A reminder that forgiveness withheld too long becomes regret that lasts forever. And so, whenever guests came and asked, "Why is that chair always empty?" Sarah would answer softly, "Because love delayed is love denied." That chair reminds us to forgive while we still have time. The empty chair was no longer just a symbol of absence. It became a voice, whispering to everyone who saw it, "Don't wait until it's too late."